right, what's up, everyone? Welcome into the Cycle Fanatic Halftime Show. Matt Van Winkle, Jared Stanbury from Hilton Coliseum, and Chris Williams in a beanie tonight. Chris, what's up, man? Jared, how are you?
Well, I feel like a beanie's appropriate for this game.
Yeah, I
I
got the
mean,
flannel too. We're hanging
if
out
this,
inside.
to be honest with everybody, my truck wouldn't start because of all the cold. So I've been out getting that thing going for the last couple of hours, and then I had to go and get Bloom's snowblower started, and it's been a deal. And then I came in and had to watch that half. So
Yeah,
good to be here, though, guys. How's
yeah, good
everybody
to be
today?
with you guys. Doing well. Want to thank our sponsors, of course, Fareway Meat and Grocery, longtime sponsor of Cyclone Fanatic. They've sponsored our halftime show all season long. So I want to thank Fareway, obviously Ames and Des Moines Eye Care as well. They've been with us the whole season. Count on them for eye care for the whole family. All right, guys. Cyclones trailing 41-25 to is it number 9 Oklahoma? What are they ranked? 9th in the country? Man, they're playing like a top 10 team right now. The biggest takeaway for me, I feel like, in this half is this is really that point in the year where you're starting to see those top of the teams really separate. In the Big 12, especially, a really good conference this year, and Oklahoma is just showing why offensively they're such a tough team to play against. Jared, let's throw to you down at Hilton. Iowa State got out to a really atrociously slow start. What did you see from the Cyclones there at Hilton that was concerning, I guess, offensively? It seemed like their only offensive game plan was getting it to Solomon Young early on, and nothing was falling for the Cyclones early in this game.
You asked me what was concerning everything. I don't know. I mean, they only had one turnover, I think, in the first 10 minutes, but man, I mean, it's where everything is so difficult, and this was kind of my concern here as we got down into this final stretch is teams like Oklahoma are playing for their seeding, and they're worried about trying to make sure they're going to be in a good position going into the NCAA tournament, and they can't afford to come out and play poorly in games like this, you know? So I feel like they're going to be everybody's going to be locked in. And then, when you get into some of these games, you don't know as you lose more and more, how does that affect you, as a team? And I thought today, this is just one of those things where Iowa State is just, it looks like they've hit a wall, on both ends. And
Yeah,
I don't know, man. None of the things that really made you feel pretty good seem to even be there right now. I mean, Kevin puts it, it's hard to watch. The way he puts it, it's exactly what it is. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. You can't, it's hard to say this is the issue. Everything is an issue at this point, it seems.
Yeah. You said the term you used, hit a wall, is kind of what I thought about 10 minutes into that. I don't know. It did seem. One of the old Iowa State coaches had an old adage where it's you play really good for 2 weeks out of the season, you play really bad for 2 weeks out of the season, and then what you are the rest of the time is who you are. And I thought Iowa State a couple weeks ago was starting to. It was before that TCU game, leading up to that TCU game. It was okay. They're not winning, but you can see some strides being made here. And I don't know. I just feel like all that is lost. And maybe Jared makes a good point. Maybe they are. Maybe these other teams are playing better too. But it's just really hard to look at Iowa State right now and imagine this team winning a game. Maybe TCU at the end of the year, but TCU will be back healthy. You'd like to think at that point, and this is really tough. It's hard to watch, but luckily the season's almost over, right?
It's frustrating because this is one of the first times that I've sat here and been man, I don't know if they even belong on the floor with this team. The way that Oklahoma was playing there for that stretch early not the very beginning because they shot terribly to start the game too, but kind of in the middle of the half when they were keeping it right around, 19 or so. I mean, it was just, Iowa State just looked so slow compared to
Let me ask you, Jared, too, from a basketball standpoint, I told you before the game this was my fear about today. I just feel like the second time around against these Hall of Fame type coaches, Iowa State's getting worked.
Yeah.
Like I think that maybe some stuff was there against Oklahoma a few weeks ago that's just not that Kruger's just too good for. Kruger's just sniffing it out. Do you think that some of that is real?
Absolutely. I mean, I think you can see where they're getting after it defensively. Like, I
Yeah.
think that's the main difference from that first game that these two teams played is like Oklahoma's intensity on the defensive end is exponentially different. I mean, and then look at what Rasir Bolton is getting. What do you have in that first game? 26 or something like that? And what's
Yeah,
he have?
that's the type of stuff I'm talking about.
And like, I know he's got 8 right now. He's 3 of 5, but every time he has the ball, like he's getting so much attention from Oklahoma's defense that it's just like that's why I say everything is difficult. Like there's nothing that they can find that's easy. Just look at the sheer amount of shots that they have that like are contested, and it can be where they've moved the ball a whole bunch and they still can't find anything that's open. And then they end up forcing something. They end up trying to force a bad shot. And I mean, that's what is just so frustrating about it, where you're like, man, this can't get anything. Like they can't get anything easy. I will say, man, shout out to George Condit, bro. Like,
He's playing a lot better.
That kid in the last 2 weeks has someone lit a fire into his ass and it worked. Because he has been
I
playing
agree.
exponentially different, like a way better player. And like the 2 plays that he made down here, the one dunk that he had were off of a pass, and then when he got an offensive rebound, went up and dunked it. Like that's like old George Condit type stuff. And then watch how when he sets those pick and rolls, just watch how much harder he rolls. He just looks so much more engaged than he was. Like
I completely agree.
That's where like I'm proud of that kid because he had every reason to be like, man, I'm packing it in, I'm done. Like I'm not even gonna think about it anymore, But he's just kept working, kept grinding, and like he's really doing some really good stuff.
Well,
you got to get some more people doing it.
He came in for Solomon at like really early in that game, like 3-4 minutes in maybe, which was kind of a surprise because Solomon was playing okay. But yeah, you're right. I mean,
Solo had 2 fouls.
Okay, he had 2 fouls, and I think you're right. I think Condit kind of we've seen it in the last couple of games. He's really played with a lot better energy on both ends. Got a nice getting his hands in the passing lanes, really using his length to his advantage. But man, one of the things we've talked about a lot too is just the offensive identity. There's nothing. I mean, there's no like when they come down the court, they just look like they don't have any real leader. I mean, I think Jared's right.
They don't have a point guard. Yeah,
you're seeing Bolton just try to do so much, and he's getting so much attention. And then when other guys get the ball, they just look lost. But
I'd like to just point out too, and kind of on your analysis there too, Matt. And then one of our commenters, Matt, I think said that it looked like the team is just going through the motions. I don't really know if that's the case. Yeah, thank you for putting that up there, Matt. I just have a hard time piling on and saying that they're not trying. I actually thought a couple weeks ago, I was really impressed with the amount of effort that you were seeing. Even last week against Kansas, I mean, there were guys diving for loose balls, and unfortunately, they're just not very good at basketball at this. Yeah, I don't know about you, Jared. Do you see a team going through the motions today? I mean, we've seen that at parts. I thought the second half of that Kansas game in Lawrence, we saw that. I think we have seen that at times, which is pretty typical with a team with this kind of record. But I don't know. What are you seeing today?
See, that's what I'm saying when I say like you don't know how winning or losing all the time, like how that just impacts you mentally. Like it just gets, especially like you get down, you get down in this game, and it's easy to just be like, man, here we go again, and like I don't think they're necessarily just going through the motions, but it's also where it's hard to sit there and be like, man, these guys are really showing what they can do. Or like they're really going after it, like doing everything that they possibly can, putting their bodies on the line to go out there and try and get a win. I mean, you see some guys do that. You see them do it in stretches, but like it's never maintained for for an extended period of time. So I don't know, man. I mean, it's just Oklahoma's just way better than that. Like that's what it comes down to. It's just like on and Matt and you and I talked about this or I guess we all three talked about this on the halftime show of that Oklahoma State game. Like they were completely outmanned in that game. Like these last 2 games is where you sit here and you're just like, man, this team is just way better than them. And you know, that's just like you can't overcome that when, you know, you're not really good at anything. I guess is
I guess I
the
wouldn't
Yeah.
where
be
you're
too.
at.
I don't
guess
even-
I guess I wouldn't be too surprised if they claw back a little bit in that second half. You started to see them go on a little bit of a run late in that half, cut it to 16. But I mean, we saw in the Oklahoma State game, we thought they were down and out, and they kind of fought back hard. Ultimately lost by a fair margin, but I mean, they haven't completely given up.
No, I
watching
don't.
this game, they haven't. I mean, they haven't thrown in the towel, which is good to see. You kind of know with a guy like Coach Prohm, with a high character guy like him, those guys aren't gonna just give up on him, I think. But so that's a positive to see. But what were you gonna say, Chris?
No, I don't think I have anything else to add. I don't think they'll give up either. We haven't seen, other than that Kansas game, but they're not going to win. This game's going to get ugly, right? My guess here, though, what is it, 41-25? Kruger will call out the dogs in this game. But Kruger really respects Steve Prohm, and Lon's not going to, I don't think he's going to pull a Chris Beard here.
This
I'll
game
put it that
has-
way.
This game
This is-
has Lon Kruger comes out and makes his opening statement and talks about how great of a guy Steve Prohm is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like that's
Absolutely.
what this is going to be. I mean, it's just Steve's done a great job here. He's had a lot of success. He's got a young team. They're still playing tough and playing hard. And it's like, you're like, okay, Lon, we appreciate that. That's what this game is going to be to me. I guess we'll see.
Yeah. All right, Jared. We'll look forward to your coverage, man. Thanks for being up there.
For sure, guys.
Matt, appreciate
Yep.
you, man.
Yep. Thanks, you
We
guys.
love having you on here, buddy.
Yep. This is fun, guys. Thanks you guys for watching. Thanks to our sponsors, Fareway and Ames and Des Moines Eye Care. All right, guys. Enjoy the second half.